Hi, I'm Rishita Makhija, your pregnancy mindset coach, and welcome back to my channel. It's so nice to have you here. Well, today we are going to talk about the three principles I learned while I was pregnant. And to make it a little interesting, I'm going to share my story with you on what I went through to actually gain these principles as my principles for life. The first principle which I learned was when I got to know that I'm pregnant. And exactly while I was, I think, in my 4th month, is when my gynac informed me that, Rishita, you have your placenta, which is really low. And the best way to deal with this is, they advised me, bed rest. I was extremely excited during my pregnancy. Everything was going great up until then. And that was like a small little pause. And of course, I would go to my appointments with my mother-in-law, with my husband. My husband was an absolute constant. And when he heard this, he got a little concerned and he was like, I remember the statement. He looked at me and said, Rishita, throw your positivity out. Right now, it's time to get practical. You have to take care of yourself. And I was like, listen, I don't want to break this bubble of mine. This bubble which has helped me really survive and really enjoy my pregnancy. I didn't want to go any other road than this. So I remember when he told me this, I went to this whole zone that, okay, now what? For 2 days, I really behaved. I really didn't do much. I was putting my legs up, was really trying to rest it out. But then the 3rd day, I asked myself one question. Do I want to live in this fear? Because so many times while we are living a certain kind of life, we are actually taking decisions only based out of fear. Because living in this fear was actually exhausting me. I was always on pins. I was taking decisions based on fear. I was like, oh my God. And the worst about fear, what I noticed was, it always made me ask a question in my subconscious. That, oh my God, if you do this, will the baby be safe? Suddenly, there was a will. There was absolute no faith. There was confusion. There was doubt. I started slipping into that whole negative zone in just 2 days. That's when I decided I can either live in this fear and keep thinking that, oh my God, things can go worst. And something can happen to my baby. My pregnancy cannot be the best. But I was exactly doing what I decided not to do. The reason I work so much on myself was to understand that while I'm pregnant, I really want to create a happy and a safe environment in my womb and also in my head so that I live in this space and energy. That's the day I took a decision. And that's the first principle I learned, that I'm going to choose faith over fear. No matter what anybody says, I'm going to believe that I deserve the best pregnancy and my baby deserves a happy mother, not a fearful mother, and my baby doesn't deserve to even live in this fear. So from that moment onwards, I took a leap of faith. I was like, I know I'm going to have the best pregnancy and my baby is going to be absolutely safe. No matter what the probabilities are, I know for me it's only going to be better than the best. If I've been gifted with this soul who has chosen to enter my life and enter this world through me, I know this soul has the capacity to take care of itself. And it was another day, another life. I started going back to the zone where I started living happily, fearlessly. Of course, I was cautious, knowing and believing and having the faith that it's all going to work out for me. So that was my first principle. The second thing was, when you become pregnant, suddenly there is this whole momentum where you and your spouse are discussing life and the baby and the pregnancy and what is going to happen. I remember this one instance where I was, of course, high on life, high on energy, enjoying my pregnancy, where my husband looked at me and he used to be like, calm down. I don't want you to be so hyper. I want you to calm down, rest, enjoy your pregnancy, live in this moment. And on the other hand, I would always believe that, the more happier I am, the more I do what my soul desires, the more I'm going to be happy. Now, was my husband wrong? Not really. Was I wrong? Not really. This is what happens. We walk out on a beach, and then one person that can be your spouse is wearing glasses which are shaded in the color of blue. On the other hand, I'm wearing these glasses, sunglasses, which is shaded in the color of pink. So I look at him and I say, hey, sweetheart, that umbrella, which is technically white, is pink in color because of my glasses. And he looks at me and he tells me, Rish, it is blue in color. Now, none of us were wrong. But just the way we were looking at that particular object was different because of the lenses we were wearing. And this is what happens in life. It's not that someone is wanting the worst for you or is not really there for you. It's just that they see life from a different lens, and so are you seeing it from a different lens. And it's okay. Until I go and explain to him that, hey, you know what? Your blue glasses are technically making you look like, it's blue in color. And my pink glasses are making me feel that it's pink in color, but actually it's white. Or can we both start wearing pink glasses so that we can see the same thing? But that needs a lot of communication. That needs a lot of patience. And that needs a lot of understanding. And when you're pregnant, you want to be in this zone where you are like, I want to be taken care of, which is very acceptable, which is sweet because this is your moment. You love to be pampered. It's the P for pregnancy, it's the P for getting pampered. Absolutely okay. But in this whole journey, what happens is we so many times actually ruin the best relationship of our life, and that's mostly with our spouse. And that's the day I learned my second principle. That's when I realized my second principle, that when my spouse is actually explaining to me and he's differing from what I think, that doesn't mean that he doesn't love me or doesn't understand me. It just means that he has a different perspective. Simple. So then when I used to get hormonal or I used to go into this zone, I used to just think of the second principle that, hey, he loves me. He's just thinking about the situation with a different perspective. Life gets easy. And that's exactly what I want you to do. So that you will realize that you will start building a stronger relationship because of this than actually making your relationship really, really hollow. And the third principle was an eye-opener. And that's something what I realized, that in the world we live in, there is so much information and there's so much love. There's so much care. People come to you and tell you and give you advice. And honestly, so many times they are not wrong. It is out of their experience, they come and tell you something. I remember one instant where my mother and my mother-in-law had absolutely different advices on the same situation. And it confused me. I was like, both of them have had 2 children. Both of them have gone through with their pregnancy. And how can they think so differently? And they went on like, you do this from one side and no, you do this from the other side. And that's the moment where I was so stuck, because these are both your mothers. How do I believe one and not believe one? Because I have absolute immense respect for both, and I know both would only say things which would be at my best cost. So that's the moment where I realized my third principle, that in your whole pregnancy, there will be different advices, but you will choose what feels right for you, because only you can judge what you really desire and need. Let me give you an example. Someone would say, have coconut water in the morning. But my body doesn't really do good with coconut water early in the morning because I land up getting a cold. Now, is that a bad advice? No. Should I follow it? Yes, if it does good to me. But I know it's going to do more harm than good. So I need to understand what is best for me. So every single time any advice comes, you have to pass it through a filter, and the filter of understanding yourself. It's so important to follow what your heart says, because while you're pregnant, you're vibrating for two people, two souls. So, of course, your grounding is very strong, and your intuitions are so strong that they will guide you the right way. As a mother, these are the motherly instincts you get while you're pregnant. You need to absolutely trust them without any doubt and just go for what you feel. And that is my third principle. I hope you have found meaning in all these three principles, because these three principles really changed the whole ideology of how I went through my pregnancy. And I hope it helps you too. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and share it to someone who you think would need this. Thank you.